Thanks for joining me for another video. This one is the second part of my latest Essentials Collection series. In this video, we'll be discussing the critically important support bag. Your first bag is always going to be your bread and butter, the stuff you're comfortable with, the stuff you score with, the stuff you can't imagine going anywhere without. The support bag is usually more specialized or technical. They have more defined uses or a bit more situational for when you need a specific look or reaction. This bag for me is a ProMotion, my Pinup Intense Fire, and my Hyroad T. The first question I imagine will be about the Hyroad T, so I'll just go on ahead and start there. The T is an overseas variant of the Hyroad Pearl. Same ball makeup, just different color and scent. I could slot the Hyroad Pearl in the same place, but if we're getting super technical, the T is a little cleaner and sharper than the Pearl, but to be fair, I also have a different layout on it than I've ever used on a Hyroad Pearl before, so they might be more similar than I think they are. I just haven't done a comparison yet. The inverted FE squared core in the Hyroad series is higher RG and medium-high differential, so it's going to breeze through the front part of the lane and be fairly boomy on the back end. The combination of this with a medium-strength cover is going to give you a ball reaction that gets you through drier heads or through transition easier, but still makes it more consistent down lane when it hits a firmer and more substantial amount of friction. My league shots will never get dry enough for me to need something like this, but in tournaments out of town on higher friction lanes or in a doubles and singles set, this one gets extremely useful. Earlier this year, I shot 13.27 for the back 5 games of doubles and singles at Greater Ozarks in Springfield, Missouri. I highly recommend that tournament, by the way. It runs nearly as long as Nationals and is run by great people, definitely a destination tournament, but the condition was on the drier side, and this helped me get the length and shape I needed to go plus 327 for 5 games when my Phase 2 and Idle Pearl were just too much in the first game. Bouncing back up to the ProMotion, it's my first ball in the support bag because of what it does with the lane. It blends everything so well. If I run into something that my Phase 2 can't blend, or that I need an Idle Pro or Idle Pearl amount of hook or mid-lane roll-on when those are being too over-under, the ProMotion is what controls all that because it's not as sensitive to wet or dry. It's weaker than the Phase 2 and not as quick on friction as the Idle Pro or Pearl. Theoretically, you could also slot an IQ Tour in here, but for my game, the IQ Tour doesn't have as wide of a range of use across the lane as the ProMotion does. Sometimes transition forces me left, but the oil volume in there is still too high to ball down to something like a Hyroad T, so the stability from the piston core on the ProMotion will still help the ball roll and be continuous down lane, or basically control the lane front to back while the spec cover blends the wet-dry from left to right. The IQ Tour does the same thing, but it doesn't like bigger angles that well, and the Phase 2 can still be too quick on friction despite it being better from deeper angles than the ProMotion. The Phase 2 is better on house shots from a deeper zone, and the ProMotion's better on flatter conditions because it gives you more room in the middle than the Phase 2. In the middle is my Pinup Intense Fire, and this is the one that I don't think that people gave a fair enough shake to or didn't quite understand. The Intense and the Intense Fire feel switched at birth for me. The Intense was R3S Pearl, and the Fire was R3S Hybrid, but the Fire for me was quite a bit cleaner up front and stronger down lane than the OG. So the Intense was the one that felt like the Hybrid, and the Fire has always felt like a Pearl to me, so that's how I've treated it. I have 2 Intense Fires, the second of which I'll talk about in a later video, but with this layout on it, which is 5 1/4 by 5 by 2 3/4, it clears the front super easy, very clean cover stock up front, and with the layout being geared more towards length and a firm but straighter finish off the end of the pattern, this is a great ball for me to use when back ends are soft because it allows me to keep my angles closed and have enough ASIM torque to get a good amount of bite down lane without so much that I have to open my angles back up. Usually when back ends are tighter or soft, symmetric balls can't quite cut it, they're a bit too slow or late down lane, and when you try to add surface, they just get earlier and tighten up your angles even a little bit more. This ball is unique to me in that it's so clean up front that I can play quite a bit straighter than I can with most other shiny ASIMs besides perhaps the Astrophysics. However, unlike the Astrophysics, which has the medium strength R2S Pearl cover on it, the Fire has R3S Hybrid on it, which somehow manages to be almost as clean up front, but quite a bit more assertive down lane. With the Astro, I can play similar angles, but it doesn't quite have the strength down lane to make the total package work like I need it to. The Astro is better when you have a little more friction to work with. The Fire is best for me on more medium conditions. With it being shiny, it's obviously not going to handle the soup, and I'm not interested in sanding it. That's what I have a ball like the Physics for. But if I need an ASIM shape down lane and don't have enough oil for something like the Physics to get down the lane, the Fire is absolutely perfect. You could also slot something like a Halo Pearl in here too, but it's a bit more forward off the end of the pattern and can get a little flatter on carry down. I'll have one more video which I call the Oh Heck bag, which is a 2-ball tote that I carry around in case all heck breaks loose and you run into something unexpected. Now, one thing I failed to mention in the first video though is that these are my essentials for house shots. So if you're noticing the absence of stronger ASIMs like the Physics or perhaps a Halo, that's why. I'll be doing a Sport Essentials lineup, which will be collection number 3. Thanks for watching.